Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Pinky is Crazy, and today I got a video for you. Now, in this video, it will be having my face, my wife's face, and places that we visit on our honeymoon. If you've seen my first video, you know that my first honeymoon did not go well, and I'll actually be redoing that because I forgot to include, or I more forgot, I had a bunch of photos of that honeymoon. So I would like to go back and kind of redo that, and I glossed over it in a video instead of actually going through it. So let's go ahead and start it. Long story short, the first day when we decided we were gonna do the honeymoon, we had gotten back, sent our cash, and then we had a bunch of money, and we're like, hey, you know what? Our first honeymoon did not go well. Why don't we go ahead and redo it so that we can have a better memorable time instead of rushing it like we did before. Plus, we didn't get to do everything we wanted to do that we got to do in here. For example, we wanted to go to Ripley's Believe It or Not museum, but we weren't able to because of the unfortunate money situation because they had left all of our cash back in our hotel room because we didn't believe that we needed that much cash as we did that time. So we had to drive 3 hours to North Carolina to drop off our daughter with her dad. Then we had to drive back to the hotel that we were staying at, get ready, get the clothes, get all the money, everything that we basically needed, and then we drove 3 hours. Now, unfortunately, at this time, when we had to drive them 3 hours, it was nighttime. It was late. We ended up leaving around like 5 or 6 o'clock, so it was extremely late at this time. So it was dark, and we were really cold and tired. Well, I was truly tired. My wife was tired. I didn't want to go. So we ended up stopping off at a hotel, and that hotel was packed. And the next hotel was packed. The next hotel was packed. And on the third person, we asked, why is it so packed? And apparently, there was a football game going on in there, which is a big thing around that area, which is like between Tennessee and Virginia, because we were literally like probably 20 miles away from the border of Tennessee. So, with that being said, we had to stop off, and we probably went to 5 or 6 different hotels, and I was extremely tired, and I finally found one, but they were charging $125 a night. Now, if I wasn't tired and I was able to keep on going, I wouldn't have sat there for that night. But I said, you know, screw it, give it to me. You know, let me get the cash real quick, and we'll pay for it. And apparently, there was a guy behind us that also had a family who was also trying to find a room. And the room that we got, it was the last room. It had two queen size beds in it, and you know, he was like, "Look, you know, you're lucky because the guy before you, when you ran out, he was saying he needed a room." I said, "I just sold it to you, but if you don't come back with the money, he was going to give it up to him." But you know, we had money at the time, so I was like, "Yeah, let's go ahead and go do it." So we got the hotel. I told my wife it. She gave me a look, and I was like, "Hey, we need a room. I'm tired. I've been driving all day. I've been doing so much. Like I've literally drove 6 7 hours in total that day." So we get the room, we get our stuff, we go up into the room. It's a nice room. When you walk in, you know, you got a nice little place to place your jackets, any coats, any luggage that you brought with you. You can place it in there. And then if you go into the right, if you go a little bit further, there's a door that you can turn to the right, and that's the bathroom. The bathroom had towels in the bottom; they were glycerin. The mirror had lights behind the mirror, so it made the mirror more like vibrant, like you could actually see yourself better. To your right was a shower. It had a stand up tub, but it wasn't just a stand up tub. It was a stand up shower. It had tile in it. Had brown glistening tile in it. It had a nice shower head on it. It was shiny. You would have sworn that it was gold at that point. Like it was crazy. The bathroom, when you actually the toilet was actually it was really nice. They had some like fluffing on the toilet seat where you sit down, so it's fluffy, it's warm when you sit on it. They actually had an actual sink, not one of those sinks that sit into the wall. This one actually was a stand up sink. And then they had a towel rack with a laundry, I don't know what you call them, but thing you put your dirty laundry into. It was very nice. And then when you went back out of it, they had the double queen side bed. They had an alarm clock, a phone. They had nice lighting in there. They had a nice television, a drawer, a place where you put your clothes at, and then they had a desk on the far right, which had a coffee maker with it, some coffee, some tea, and some sugar for you. And it had a nice little desk lamp. Now, at this time, I wasn't making YouTube videos, so I wasn't able to vlog it or really be like, hey, you know, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm making. You know, it's basically for business. It was really nice. And that was what we did. So we ended up going to sleep. We woke up in the morning around like 7:30 or so. I went down. I got some cereal, some eggs, some juice, sausage, waffles. And after I finished up all that stuff, I was actually watching the TV, and it was kind of funny because while we're watching the TV had mentioned that there was a population of deer in the Tennessee area. In that area of Tennessee and Virginia, there was apparently an issue with deer at that time. And it was funny because I was actually seeing like probably 20 or 30 deer in the whole 3 hour that I was watching, just on the side of the road, messed up. So we ended up, I ended up lost an hour. Like, man, you know what? Yeah. And hunting, apparently, because it's so hard to hunt, I guess. And a lot of people just don't like hunting anymore. I don't understand that reason, but we ended up, after I finished my food, I walked into the lobby with our stuff, our luggage, our clothes, stuff to take showers with. And I walked out and I was like, wow, it's snowing. And I think I've already shown that photo, yeah, of the snow. I was like, yeah, look at it, it's snowing, it's great. And I took a photo of it, of our windshield. It was kind of early in the video. Took a photo of it, and we ended up leaving that day. We ended up going down the road, and we went through Johnson City and all the tourist attraction areas, and we went by, and we didn't stop because I wanted to get to Gatlinburg and actually see the insides of Gatlinburg, instead of like last time where we got stuck and we kind of didn't have no money to really do anything with, so we had to sit there and wait and just look at all these attractions instead of actually go do them. So we get there, we're driving around, kind of looking around the place, and my wife is like, oh, there's Ripley's Believe It or Not. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we'll go do Ripley's Believe It or Not. It was a nice museum. I mean, not nice museum. It was a nice exhibit, I should say. It's more for It covers a bunch of different more marine animals around the world, piranhas, some weird fish, jellyfish, and it covers them around colder areas, warmer areas, really hot areas, climate-wise, and it covers all of those, and, it was absolutely amazing. We went in, they had a penguin parade going on, we got our photo taken, my wife and I, it was great, and when we went up to the stand to get into Ripley's Believe It or Not, it turns out that they had a special. They offered mini golf also with this mountain roller coaster that we're able to do. So I went ahead and said, you know what, I'll do that. I'll do the mountain roller coaster. It sounds great. I think it would be something awesome to do. So we went ahead and bought that. We went into Ripley's, had a great time, looked at the penguins, looked at the different fish. I absolutely love the penguins part. They all have different names. Which one's naughty, which one's nice, which one they love, and they kind of tell you like which one's attacks the trainers. And it was absolutely amazing. So we get out. Remember, we got our tickets for our mini golf, and we're like, hey, let's go do the mountain coaster real quick, and then we'll hit mini golf. So we hop on this trolley, right? And this old man, he ain't even really speaking into his speaker system. He's just kind of talking low. I guess he's asking if anybody needs to stop here, and no one says anything because at this time I'm not 100% sure. So my wife and I are sitting on these park benches inside this trolley while he's driving up. And he's driving past these attractions that we need to stop at. We're like, hey, dude, we need to get off here. And he's like, no, this is the wrong bus. And we ended up going back to the, it's like a guide center where everybody gets dropped off and get on different trolleys to go to different areas. Well, we ended up getting,
Hello, how are you doing today? My name is Pinky is Crazy, and I hope y'all are all having a great day. A few things before I get to the story. As you've already seen, I'm going to be talking about the time that I got into a fight at school. But before you do that, I would like for you to leave a like. I would like you to like that button really hard, and then I would like you to subscribe to it since I'm a small creator, and then I'd like you to share it with some friends so that they can see what we're doing as well, or what I'm trying to do more of, so I'd greatly appreciate that. But without further ado, I'll just hop into the story like I do with any other story. So it was a normal day. I was in high school, of course. I'm graduated now. I had finished high school probably about 6-7 years ago now, and it still lingers in the back of my mind of this day that had occurred, right? It was in the morning time. I had gotten that morning, had gotten a biscuit, got that biscuits and gravy from my school lunch, and I had eaten my biscuits and gravy, and I was having a good time. I was talking to my girlfriend and I usually meet up at the bus loop, and then we go in and get ourselves some food. Well, while I was doing that, I seen a buddy of mine that we kind of like stop off and do this traditional thing, right, where we ball bust each other, we punch each other in the balls, we hit each other in the balls, whatnot. And we've been doing it for most of the year now. But at this point, he had gotten with this girl named Angelina. We'll call her Angelina. I'm trying to think of that's what I should call her. But he ended up getting with this girl Angelina, and it was kind of funny because a lot of us didn't believe they were going to get together, right? So they ended up getting together. After they got together, he just started to change a little bit. He started to change in a more of a drastic way, in my view. He started not to really visibly like the ball busters, so I started to leave him alone, right? My girlfriend and I were having a fight after later on that morning because I didn't want to be with her, unfortunately, because I just felt like she wasn't the right person for me. And I kept illustrating that, and not to mention that I had caught her texting other guys and trying to meet up with them. And this is all high school drama. It's a lot of high school drama. So that's what was kind of going on at that time. So, as I was chilling out, I wasn't doing anything too crazy. I was walking up to first period English. English was my first period class. And I walked up, he ball busted me. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get that sucker later. So while I'm getting ball busted in my head, I'm like, okay, I'll wait for him later, and that's when we'll do it. So the first period goes without a hitch. I go there, I do my English work, do what I need to do. Nothing too crazy happened. I just let it go. Then we go to second period. Second period with gym. So I went there, we played some kickball, had a great time in there. Nothing really too exciting happened. Other than my friend, which I might actually leave that for another story, but it's a little short. So my friend apparently during the gym period went in with this girl, and we're going to call her Roach, right? And the reason I'm going to call her Roach is because she was known to mess around with a lot of guys. So my buddy says he has to go use the bathroom, and I didn't know what was going on. And apparently at that time, Roach had went to the bathroom as well, and the boys and girls bathroom were side by side, so you could just slip in one and out the other. They weren't like they were, people were standing there or they were separated. They were side by side, like literally there was a thin, probably 6 inches of wall separating them, so you could just slip in really fast. And the area that it wasn't really heavily monitored at all, so there wasn't a lot of people. So he ended up going in there and apparently doing the dirty deed with her, and decided that he was going to come out and tell me that he's the real Dirty Dan, and that's what he ended up doing. Now, I had personally might have been with Roach, but it just didn't happen, so we left it alone. Anyways, back to my buddy. So I ended up seeing him down the hall, right, as I was walking from gym. After we got out of gym, I'm all sweaty and shit. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and go to my third period, which was math. I was going to go to math. I love math. Math is great. I think I was learning algebra at the time. So I'm walking down the hallway, and I see this mother effer walking down the staircase. And I'm like, it's my time. It's my time. I got it. Because I'm walking up it. So when we're going up, I just go in and grab that shit. I go in full hands, grabbing and squeezing and letting go. And he kind of just looked at me with a dirty look. And I didn't really know what it meant at that time. It just never really occurred to me that he was really upset, which I'll find out here real soon. So after that had occurred, he was really upset. So third period is lunchtime, right? And we have lunch together. So when lunchtime had came over, I wasn't expecting anything. I went in there, I got my cheeseburger, I was eating my cheeseburger, I was having a great time. My girlfriend was with me. We were talking about things that she did and what she's interested in and what she plans on doing and plans for YouTube, because she was going to do YouTube for the longest time, which she eventually did. And we just kind of more or less talked about it for a minute. Well, after we talked about it for a little bit, I ended up getting up and leaving lunch. And as I left lunch, I was walking down the hallway. And it just so happened that my buddy, who we've been ball busting for half the year, decided that he had enough of the ball busting. And I had no idea that's how he felt. So as I'm walking, he walks up in front of me and just grabs my throat, right? Just absolutely like he's Homer Simpson wringing out Bart's throat, right? And he grabs it. And at this point, he's a really small kid. He's not really big. He's probably about 5'5". he's probably no more than 130 pounds. Like, dude is really skinny. Like, he really doesn't have any muscles built on him or anything of that sort. So while we're doing that, or while he's doing that to me, I think he's joking. You know, obviously I know we're hurting each other for fun. So I'm just kind of smiling at him, and you could see in his face it wasn't happiness or jokiness or anything. In fact, it was more pure-blooded anger, and you could see that he really wasn't happy. And for whatever the reason, he really had enough of it. And so he kind of just sits there and squeezes a little harder. Now, what felt like 3 seconds, probably him for 30 seconds, because I was a really slow guy. I didn't pick up on it on yet. And it was at that moment I realized, oh, we're fighting. Oh, he's fighting me right now. Because at that very moment, I thought that he let go of his right hand and brought it back and hit me 3 times in the forehead. At this time, I was like, oh God, he's fighting me. I can't feel a thing. So I grabbed him by his shoulder and I put him in headlock. I bring him down and I start wailing on his face. And I just start going. And as I'm starting to go, I'm like, all right, so this is happening. And all my friends are coming by and they're like, yeah, do it, Pinky, beat his ass. And I'm like, okay, all right. And his own brother came over and just watched it for a second and walked off. And I was like, okay, that's kind of fucked up. I'm just going to let him go. So I end up letting him go and he ends up running off. And I'm like, don't say nothing. I won't say nothing. Unfortunately, I had blood running down my head and he had blood running out of his nose. So while we're walking down that hallway, not just any person noticed it. No, it was the principal who knew it. He had saw us walking down the hallway after a bunch of people cheered on. They didn't really gather around it. They just kind of noticed it. You know, at this time, a lot of my friends are older and have girlfriends, so they can't really do any tomfoolery like that. So they just kind of ignore it, right? They just kind of walk by, give me a little cheering, like, yeah, beat his ass type thing. And that's what I ended up doing, you know. And I didn't let him go. I'm like, you don't say nothing, I don't say nothing. We go our separate ways. I apologize for what happened. So the principal sees us, he stops us, he looks at us, and he's like, nah, you stop. The other dude had the smart idea to run away. You know, I didn't have that idea. I just gotta stop. You know, I'm the goody two shoes, right? I'm gonna stop, you know. So I stop, and he's like, what happened? I'm like, nothing happened. He's like, we're gonna run the cameras back, and then we'll come back to you. And they ran the cameras back, and they seen the whole thing. They're like, we seen the whole thing. It's on video, everything of that sort, whatnot. So we get pulled off to the side. They go get him. They get me. And put us aside, they get the resource officer. They start talking with the resource officer. The resource officer comes over and talks to me and tells me that they're going to see what's going to happen, but they're going to set us off to the side. Well, when they set us off to the side, his parents ended up coming up to the school. And when they came up to the school, they apparently wasn't really really happy about it, because about a couple hours after sitting there doing my homework and excess work that I haven't done, because I'm basically in detention at this point, but in the principal's office, and he's playing the victim card. Oh, I didn't do nothing. And so his parents were threatening to press charges, and then they showed him the video. And I got put in the loop at this moment that, hey, he was going to press charge. They were going to press charges on you because he was fibbing about exactly what happened. But the video clearly shows he came up to you, put his hands around your throat, and then proceeded to punch you 3 times in the face. So if we let them know if they take it to court, it could be reversed and he could get the charges for assault and battery. And since I think he was 16 at the time, it could have possibly reflected on his parents instead. But it would be him that would ultimately be getting into trouble because he's over 14. So it's a flip-flops type of situation right there. So that was kind of exactly what happened that day. And it really sucked. You know, that was a sucky day. I got suspended for 3 days. But hey, I got to play video games, right? There ain't nothing wrong with playing video games. So I played video games and played with my friends. And so I guess that's kind of what it was meant to do. But I do want to say, hey, thank y'all for coming out, watching this video. I hope y'all enjoyed the gameplay I got back there. I do want to give a little... I got this idea from Goblin. If you watch Goblin, I was watching him. He kind of did it. So I got this idea from him. He ended up popping up on my YouTube. So that's where I got my idea from, to do videos of games in the background. So go check out his channel. I really do appreciate it. You know, I'm a small content creator. Compared to him, I definitely appreciate him for giving me these ideas. Also, secondly, give a like for me. I'm a very small channel. The more likes you give, the more people that can see me. Second, subscribe. The more subscriptions I get, the more closer I get to monetization, the more time I get money. And if I get money, I can put it into the YouTube channel, and then I'm able to get better quality gear, like, for example, headphones. Obviously, you're going to hear it in this one. And a video camera. I really want to get a video camera where I can start recording my reactions so that y'all can see them when I'm streaming, and so I can also start streaming as well. Third, go ahead. As I said in my last video that I was making, I'm doing a you tell me, or you more of tell me a story that you got going on or that has happened, whether it's a fight, whether it's smoking that green kush for the first time, or anything of those natures, and something crazy, maybe a scary story, and just put it down there in the comment section, and I'll check it out. And when I check it out is when I'll take a screenshot, save it, and I will put it into my back pocket for a later time when I accumulate enough stories. Or maybe I just put it in a short, and I do a short story for you, and I put it out. And if you want to take credit, let me know. If you don't put anonymous in it, I'm going to assume that you want me to put credit, so just do that for me. So I know what you want me to do, because I'm going to take a screenshot and I'm going to upload it. And I might just start like a little mini series, a little more mini short series. So I would definitely appreciate if you did that. And like I said, I hope y'all have a great day, guys, and I'll see y'all in the next time. Bye.